on your last one, it'll be down there. So you just want to go in there, download the coffee daily schedule, whatever, XLS, because that's what we're going to be working in here. This is for chapter 6. And what we want to make sure that we're going to do here is we're kind of moving out of the phase where we have to type everything in. Yay! So now we're going to get into some more of the complicated stuff. No, the fun stuff. So someone's going to give us all the data, and we're going to go make it useful, and we're going to turn it into information. So I like that. It's kind of fun. So if you go into your Canvas week 2, reading and tools, you should be able to download that. I'm going to go ahead and open it right now. Don't open it? It's not opening, or? So it should be Coffee Craft Daily Service Data. And like I said, we're going to be talking about querying and creating tables. So we're going to go ahead and start off. I'm on page 310. I'm going to open up this file, as it tells us to on page 310, and I'm going to enable editing. I would think just from the beginning, everybody would say, Mr. Greer, you are so nice not making us type all this in, because I know that you think it would benefit us to be better at typing and to get good at formatting, but I appreciate you not doing that. Amy, I appreciate you too. You got lost opening a file? Noelle, this isn't that hard.
Stop yelling at me! Jesus.
Noelle wants to be internet famous, so we're going to make her famous on this YouTube channel.
No, don't.
It's too late. Everybody's already heard it. If you'd like to check her out on Instagram, there's going to be like 3 views on this in the next 2 years, okay? So it's not really going to help your street cred. Okay. I was talking to somebody at the college who was saying, should we record it? And I'm like, do you know how many people view this stuff? It's just my students. It's not that it has to be open. It's just, it's out there. All right, so we've gotten here. You got that, Deborah?
Yeah, she's clicking on it. It's not open.
All right, well. Sounds like a clicking problem. Let me just try this. That's what he's saying.
Okay, then good to know. Upload. But mind you, he said yes, right? You heard her? Yeah. Okay. The struggle. The code's gonna be the struggle's real.
I'm sorry that this is export.
You guys all go like it.
Let's see your date modified. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Ta-da! Let's open. You know what? You've got so many things open here. Maybe we're just having a issue with Excel freaking out here. Is there something going on here where? Yeah, there it is. Okay. You had one of these that you were working on that I think is preventing everything else from closing. It's this one right here. Click OK. Click close. Oh, we have a cell. There we go. Now, there. Oh. Coffee shop. You opened it a bunch of times. You just had, wow, you opened it like 10 times. Okay. Let's make up for lost time. We're going to go in. We've run Excel. We've opened the data file. We're going to click on the theme button, which is under Page Layout tab, right up here. We're going to go ahead and change the theme. This theme that we're going to be using is going to be called the Vapor Trail theme. It's a vape. Okay, so the Vapor Trail theme. You did, huh? Listen, I don't care what they say. Vaping is just as bad. Amy, it's not worthwhile. Vapor Trail. We're going to save the we're going to save the file. As soon as we do that, I hit Control S. It just saved it to the same spot at where it is. Control S. Now, we're going to turn this into a table. And let me explain to you really quickly what a table is. Right now, this is technically a table. If we were to look at it, we would call this a table. But Excel doesn't treat it as a table. When we create a table in Excel, it allows us to have certain functions that we didn't have before. Like we can quickly sort for a time build. We could just click a button here and it will do ascending or descending. It will do very quick things and it keeps the row together. So from the left to the right, when we turn this into a table, this becomes one, it's not field. I'm thinking of the database term, and I'm sorry, I'm going blank right now, but it's one entry, essentially. So it doesn't jumble everything up. If I was to sort time build right now, if I was just to sort this, it would flip all these numbers around, but it wouldn't keep them locked to everything to the left and the right of it. So that's what a table does for us, is it creates this continuity and allows us to have a header row that's always visible and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight customer ID down to F22. I've got that all highlighted. And under Home and Format, no, it's Insert, I think. Right here, we can insert as a table. It pops up and it says, my table has headers. What does that mean? It means everything up on top is actually like a description. It's not data. What? I hit Insert and then Table. It's right below the Insert.
Now, is there something you can check off for columns as well? Or?
No.
Not headers, but
You mean stuff on the left?
Yes, sir.
You would transpose it. We can go into that later, and then you would make it this kind of a. Then you click OK. Now notice that as soon as I did that, it got all fancy. We have different lines here. Now I can change the way this is formatted because the book is asking me to format it differently. So I'm going to go ahead and drop down and say, and we could have done that, I'm sorry, we could have done that in Home under Format as a Table. And we could have picked, like I am right here, we could have picked any of these. We want to pick this one right here, which is Table Style Medium 16. On the exam, it's just like there's no easy way to memorize like what is this, but they'll say something like medium or light or dark, and you know instantly go down to that area because putting the right style on it is just as important as making it a table. So they're going to grade that on the exam. So you want to make sure you're doing that. So I just changed it. Now notice instead of being red every other, it's this gray every other. We have a dark line, red up on top. Okay, so we did that. Now we want to wrap text. And when I say wrap text, it means that up here, we're going to highlight everything all the way across here. And then this is like F is really wide. We can just come up here to this button right here, which is wrap text. And when we click on that, I can now shrink F. And it didn't wrap the text. You bugger. Oh yeah, it did. Sorry, I just have to make it taller now. There we go. So instead of just making the word disappear, it flipped the word down to below. So it wraps the text automatically. It's like hitting Alt-Enter, except it does it automatically. It didn't do it? Well, yeah. So you got to bring it bigger now. You got to make the row wider, not just shrink it. Then you have to make the row wider. I'm sorry, what was it?
So now, wait a minute, go back. So this one came bigger.
Yeah, and then go in between 7 and 8.
And then you're going to click on Wrap Text, and there it is.
Thank you.
Wow, I didn't realize Wrap Text was going to be the thing that brought this class to its knees. Boom.
I missed that part.
All right, so next what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the whole table. So we're going to grab from A8 down to F22, and we're going to name it. We're going to name the table. So we're going to come up here, and we are going to go to Design. And then over here on Table Name, this is on the exam. You just go over to Design, and then you type in there. We want to call this one Service underscore calls. Whoops. Service calls. Hit Enter. I'm clicked in the table. I go to Design, and I go over here to Table Name.
You don't have to highlight the whole
You don't have to highlight the whole thing for that one. I'm sorry. Service underscore calls. It's on page 314.
You said hit enter after that, right?
And then hit Enter. That names it. Oh, it's not going to do anything. It's just going to take your cursor out of here. So you're good. It's not going to change anything.
Now, is this also kind of like defining a name?
It is defining a name. We're defining the name of the table now. So if we want to go to service calls, we can do that. Are you inside the table? Hold on one second. Let me just try this here. Try that. Service underscore calls. I'm sorry? Did it? I mean, it's already there. I don't know if it came up named that. I don't think it named the tab. Okay, now what we have is an opportunity to go through and say, okay, do we have any duplicates in here? And maybe the duplicate is the customer ID, maybe it's the customer type or the service type. We can go through and tell the computer, instead of me finding all the duplicates, I want you to get rid of the duplicates. And so I can go in, and under this design, table design area, I can say remove duplicates.
Okay, so are we gonna, okay, so, wait a minute. So we're gonna highlight again?
Just click anywhere in the table and then click that remove duplicates button.
Okay.
This is on the exam also. We want to select all, so everything needs to be matching.
Okay.
And then click OK. And it should come up and say that it removed 13 unique values. Okay. They're here for you, Noelle.
I know, they're
Okay.
So what does that do?
So it pulled out, so I'll do it on mine, George, so you don't have to do it on yours. Let me just do this, Control Z. It's pulling out, there was one of them, and I don't know which, Mike Callaway, this one right here. Notice that if this was a huge file, for me to go through and identify just these two would be a pain. So let me just give you a for instance. I go through and I export the next 3 years of class schedules for everybody on the campus once a month. It's a huge, huge Excel file. And then when I'm planning out, like History 220 will be next month, I go and see who's got History 220 coming up in their schedule. And if somebody for some reason has it out of sequence, I pull your schedules out and I'm like, okay, here's all the people with History 220. These are all the people that have it in, scattered over the next 3 months that should just be in a class instead of doing it as a directed study. And I can limit my table. I do this exact thing right here. I use a table to just quickly, like I can click on this down arrow, we're gonna see this, and I can highlight just History 220 and it shows me just History 220, and then I can sort it by the date that the History 220 is being taught. And then we do all these complicated sorts. So we're getting there, but remove duplicates. If I had two George schedules for History 220, it would pull those out because for some reason that would be a computer error. Yes, sir.
So I did that. It says one duplicate values found and remove 13 unique values from names. Is that correct?
Yes. Same thing here. So we removed one. We have 13 that are still there. Now we're going to enter a new record. It tells us at the bottom of page 315 that we want to put something else in here. So I'm going to go down to the bottom of this one, and I'm going to put an A22 42724. Now notice, as soon as I type the first one and I hit tab, what happened? My table expanded. So it actually is now including this information in the table. I saw that black line move down. The name is Franklin Nathan. It's coffee shop. And watch, did you see that as I'm typing? When I hit R, repair comes up. I don't even have to type the whole thing. Or coffee shop, I just have to hit CO and then it comes up. and then 2.00 and 9.5.
Now, is that because you created the table?
It's because Excel looks up anything above in the same column, and it will guess that that's what you're trying to do. Makes it very quick when you're doing data entry. Now we want to add some new columns to the table. Okay, so we're going to put post service rating. Post service rating. And notice as soon as I did that, what did it do? It copied the cell to the left, and it said, oh, he wants word wrap, and he wants it to be in the table. So it's guessing what we want to do with this. Then we want to put percentage of technicians workday.
What's that? Half word there,
Post.
above service rating.
I'll make this bigger for you, even though we're going to do that. And customer bill. Now I'm going to change the width of column I to 11. That way customer bill fits in there. I'm going to change the width of H to 16.5. You're like, why are you doing that, Mr. Greer? Well, the book is telling me to, that's why. I'm just trying to make it fit, and they're giving me precise directions on what they want me to do. And I'm sorry, G is going to be right mouse clicking, and column width is going to be 16.
So, post services, it's gonna be 16.
Yeah, and then 16.5, and then 11.
It was how,
11. Oh, H is 16.5. Now we're going to want to merge and center the top here so we can cover A7 all the way across. So we're going to hold Shift, go all the way over to I, click my fantastic merge and center button. Oh, you know what? I don't want to merge and center. I want to tell you what they're trying to get us to do. So I've highlighted it all the way across. We want to click Format Cells. So I'm just going to right mouse click on this and say Format Cells. It's going to come up with our little dialog box. We'll go to Alignment, Alignment, and we're going to center across the selection. So I have a text alignment. I'm going to drop that box down, say Center Across Selection here.
How'd you get that down?
The drop down, I went to Alignment, and then I did the bottom arrow. You had to hit right mouse click on the cells up here. So I'll show you one more time. You have to highlight everything, hit right mouse click, Format Cells. It'll start in the number one. You want to go to Alignment and then Center Across Selection. Now what's different about this? We did not merge the cells together. We still have individual things up here that are still there, but we've centered it across all that. Oops. So I can still go to these individual cells, but the only one that has it is A. So I can type things in here. Okay? Good. We formatted the cells. We did that. Title is centered across the columns and formatted. Great. It's looking good. Let's go ahead and make the title for A7. Let's make it a title slide. So let's do a cell style title. Perfect.
What did you do right now?
I just went up to, I just highlighted A7 because A7 is where this is. Then I went up to cell styles and down to title. Okay, we're about to get a little crazy in here. So I need everybody to have their brains turned on. This is one of the more complicated things we're going to be doing. Diet Coke, everybody, Diet Coke. Did you say hold on? All right, I'm going to explain this. We're not going to do it yet, but I'm going to explain what we're going to do. We're going to be using what's called a lookup table. Okay? A lookup table for the entries in the satisfaction survey column give the user a numerical evaluation of the customer feedback for each technician. Some people, however, prefer simple ratings or letter grades, which, when used properly, group the technicians in the same way sports team awards their medals or instructors group student grades. So let's say I could tell you you have an 85, or I could just put you into a B category. We did an if function for this for homework last time. Ranging on values that are stored in a separate area of the worksheet. This range is sometimes called a table array or a lookup table. Or a lookup table. So we just want to realize that what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting something in a different location on the spreadsheet. We're going to be saying, I want you to go over here, and depending on what value is in here, I want you to bring back something else for me. Okay? So it's a little difficult, but it's actually pretty cool when we see it. We're going to be like, ooh, that looks cool. I like that. So we want to go to M. We're going to scoot over to the right. And we want to make column M 16.5 wide. You with us, Crystal?
Yes.
Good. M is in, what is, Mike. That's the one I always miss. Mike. I love the A team. Alpha, Mike, Foxtrot, whatever. Okay. L1, we're going to type in ratings table. So we're going to come up here, and in L1, we're going to say ratings, or rating table. We're going to apply the title slide, format, cell style. So apply title to L1. And we're going to bold it, Control B. In L2, we're going to go ahead and type survey. You say hold on?
Which cell style do you use for L?
Title, and then I hit bold. So I'm making a little mini table here. I'm going to put whatever the survey result is, this is the rating they're going to get. Okay? So if it was like a 60 or higher, give them a D. If it was a 70 or higher, give them a C. If it's a 80 or higher, give them a B. We're just going to do that. We're probably going to use colors in here. Select cell I8. Okay, customer bill. And apply, let me see here. Click Format Painter. So we're going to go grab the Format Painter right here.
Single click or no?
What'd you say?
Single click?
Single click it. And now we have this little paintbrush right here. And we want to highlight
Go back really quick.
L2 to M2. Go back what?
To the, go back. To where you were before the coloring, the custom bill.
Well, I just clicked on here, and then you click Format Painter, because all that's going to do is what, George?
It's going to copy the...
It's going to copy the way it looks and put it up here, whatever I highlight next. So it's kind of like saying I'm going to grab all of it, and I'm going to slap it on whatever you tell me to slap it on. So I could have gone through and done everything again, but I don't want to do that. I'm just going to make it a Format Painter.
And then
Now we're going to type in the stuff that's up on page 320 at the top left. So they give us the data to put in here. So in L3, we should put 0, then 7, 8, and 9. And in cell M3, we're going to say generate report.
With that star.
Yeah. We're going to say bronze, silver, and gold. Yeah. Wild card times, all that stuff. So now we're going to use the VLOOKUP function, okay, in Excel. This is where we're going to start getting a little crazy, but this is on the certification exam. Actually, I don't think this is on the normal one. This is on the expert one. But I want you all to take the expert one. But knowing how to do this, you're going to be like, the normal one's so easy. Now that I know how to do a VLOOKUP, this is peanuts. All right, so what we want to do is we want to give it the rating over here. So if we look over at this, based upon this survey result, okay, I want to do the post-service rating of bronze, silver, gold, or generate a report. Okay, so I'm telling it, like, instead of going through and me having to do an if function, which I could do, but this is for something really big. We don't want to write an if function that's a monster. We can almost just we could do a lookup, like, hey, instead of doing if this is true, then do this. If this is true, then do this. We could do a huge nested if function. We've already learned that. But this is almost a simpler way to do it. Like, here's all my conditions. Here's what I want to have be the results. Compare what's in here. That's essentially what we're doing.
Oh, so like if function is more like a process of elimination, this is more like a reference?
Well, no, if functions have their place, but this is, I would say, a more advanced but simpler way to do it. Like if you're going to go nested if function, like if we were to do this, we would have to have 4 nested if functions. Okay? As soon as I get past 2 on an if function, I'm probably going to start looking at making up a VLOOKUP table, because it's going to give me something very similar. So let's watch what happens when we do this one. So we are going to calculate this. So in cell G9, Golf 9, we're going to say equals VLOOKUP, and it pops right up here. And I'm going to read this to you because I think this is important. This looks for a value in the leftmost column of a table and then returns a value in the same row from the column you specify. By default, the table must be sorted in an ascending order. We want to know all these things because Excel is telling us this is what I need to do this function. So could we start this with 9 on top? No, because it wants it in ascending order, meaning start from the lowest number, go to the highest number. Okay? And it says we're going to use this table over here. It's going to take the far left one, and then we could actually have 4 or 5 columns here, and we could select the column that we want it to return. Yeah, that's a little complicated. We're keeping this, return as the value. So down in here, it's going to return whatever column. So it's tying these two things together. If I had bronze, and then I had it, ¿cómo se dice bronze en español? Bronzo? Come on.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, but I say, yeah. So we put bronzo. I'm just kidding. But we could put it, if we wanted to put it in here and say post-service rating español, and it comes back with bronzo. Like I'm saying, we could have like 10 columns in here, but we could say in this one, I want you to return it from this column, okay? It's a complicated thing to do, but once we do it, it's pretty cool. So we're going to say we want to look up F9. So the first piece of this is I want to look up, I got to double click on VLOOKUP.
Wow.
What was it?
Bronze.
Bronze? I said bronzo. Oh, dang it. I was so close. There you go. You just queried something. I like that.
What?
You just queried something. You're doing it. You're doing it. So we're going to look up F9. I don't know why it gave me @satisfaction survey. I'm just going to go ahead and say F9.
Okay, so that.
F9, comma, I got the bracket. It's asking me for the table array next. So what is the table array? It's all of this right here. So I'm going to click and drag. So I've highlighted all those. Once again, it's going to take the far left value and compare it to what I have here. So our number's on the left. Then we're going to say comma. And now it says which column index range do I use? This is on the expert exam. This one got me going a little bit. So we can't tell it. Oh, well, we have 2 columns. So which one of these columns do we want it to use as the return? The second one, right? So we want to put column 2 in this array. So the comma that we have here is column 2. And then we're going to go ahead and close that. And we're going to hit enter.
So we don't have to do anything with the range lookup?
Oh.
Now mine came up with NAs. Did anybody else get this?
Yeah, I got NAs.
Didn't you forget to put the absolute reference? Like the hash?
What is that formula?
Oh, I did. Oh, thank you. She caught my absolute. This needs to be absolute. because we don't want it to be relative as it goes through. We want to keep that table array absolute. And now I'm going to hit enter. Let's see if it'll go all the way back down. Yep, it did it. Here, I'll go back up to it.
So the M6 needs to be absolute right.
Yeah, you need to do the L3 to the M6 range, which means no matter where I go, I want this to stay. But notice all of a sudden it just pulled back, so we automatically get something kind of cool. Now we could actually put colors on here. I think we have to do that for homework. I think we're going to do it today too. I'm going to blow your minds because I'm slowing down, but I'm just going to give you a little information. What if, this is a big what if. Yeah, both of them need to be. What if I want to do this? You don't do this, don't do this. But what if I went up and did conditional formatting and I wanted to say new rule, if the cell contains a cell value that equals gold, then I want you to format it into gold with a background of black. And I'm gonna make it bold. So that's how I know, like, these are gonna be my rock stars, right? Here, I'll go back to it. But see, now I did that. It's conditionally formatted. I'm just showing you what's possible here. So we've conditionally formatted based upon what came here from a table, what this one looks like. And we very quickly could say, so we can do this for top and bottom. Like, who are the people that need a report? Maybe they need to be in red. And I know that now I need to go pull that person in and say, something's wrong, you're getting bad reviews. Or maybe I have my people that come up in black and gold, and I'm like, look, you're a rock star, good job. Thank you very much. I'm going to go have my, but instead of having to look through and sort the data, I get Excel to pull these things out for me very quickly. So I'm going to,
Why is G supposed to be?
how what?
Why?
G is supposed to be, I think, 16. Yes. Which formula? Yeah, it's on the bottom of page 320 under number 1. And you got to make sure you have your dollar signs there. Money, 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 money. Okay. So now we're going to calculate some things. We're going to create some calculated fields within this. We're going to select H9. And we're going to calculate out how much of their day was spent here. So click the percentage style and then increase the, so we're going to go percentage and we're going to increase decimal 2 times. 1, 2. I just did that. I clicked percentage on H9 and then increase decimal twice. 16.5. 16.5. Now we are going to type equals, and then we're going to use a bracket. Okay? Now bracket brings up all these things that are going on. We want to do time build. Okay? So equals bracket, which is not parentheses, it's the square bracket, remember? And we're going to do time build. Ooh, it's pulling up all these different areas of the spreadsheet that we have here. This is kind of cool, isn't it? So it's going over to this group right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and double click on time build. And then we're going to divide that, or close the bracket. So it's saying, here we go. We have the whole day, so to speak. Divide it by 6.5. And I think that is his whole day of hours or something like that. I'm not sure exactly. So what we get here is the percentage of the day that was spent at this one.
Now, if you would have just done the E9 divided by...
We could have, but because we're in a table, we're saying I want this to go all the way down. We would have had to drag it and do all that kind of stuff, but because we have these columns, those names are already built into a table.
Okay.
So we had that already for us. Finally, in I9, we're going to do the same thing, customer bill. We want to go to accounting number format, which is Crystal's favorite one, this button right here, because we don't have to do anything. Just click that once. Oh, and why was the company divided by 6.5 hours? It's because that's their normal work day. So they usually do a 6.5 hour work day. That's why we put that in there. And if you were Mr. Greer and you wanted to do this for real in the real world, what would we have done differently? Does anybody remember? Should we ever type in a number here? I would have probably come up here and I would have put, in my world, I would have put 6.5. I would have made it white. And then what I would have said is divided by this cell, and I would have made it stuck. Would have gone down. It gives me the same number, but then if I change to an 8-hour workday, I could just come up here and change it to 8 hours. It will automatically work. So you don't have to do that. I'm just showing you like real world Excel tricks. Like that's what you do. So you should never be typing in a number, in my opinion, unless it's like a data point, especially one that's going to change potentially in the future. So I might actually just go up here and make another table that says daily hours worked per employee or something like that, you know, like typical work day. And then I can just, I don't have to hide it. I just don't have to print it for people. But in this kind of thing, I could have just gone up and hidden it in white. It's one of my gangster Excel tricks. Don't quote me on that. Okay, so we're going to say on customer bill, if, we're going to go ahead and do an if function here. If D9, and this is on page 323, equals warranty. So you have to make sure, we're saying if this group equals warranty, you have to spell it right. Okay, if you don't spell it right, you're not going to get the, and we're using the quotes here again, so we want to make sure it says the exact same thing. Equals warranty, comma 0, meaning if it's true, so it's covered under warranty, don't bill them anything. If it's not true, comma, what we want to do is we want to take the time billed, so bracket, time billed, close bracket, times, and our rate per hour. Once again, it's going to ask us to put in 75, okay, because we charge $75 an hour. What would Mr. Greer do? I'd put it right up above. I'm not going to confuse everybody. I don't want to freak you out, so I'm going to go ahead and just type in 75. And it automatically calculates out. So we could see that this is how much we should have billed everybody based upon us going out and fixing their stuff. After time billed what? Times 70, close the bracket, and then do times 75. Yes, Crystal. The bracket is important. So I totally jumped ahead because they're going to have us do a conditional format, but I just love it. I couldn't help myself. Oh, it works!
It's fancy.
It is fancy. So, George, imagine if you'd actually shown up with something like this instead of your crappy spreadsheet you brought. I'm just kidding.
Oh my! First you gave a compliment and I was like, you're crappy.
I still use that spreadsheet.
But imagine if you made it work like something like this, where people could have it locked and it would come up with a report, and like you could do a conditional format that would say best, medium, and worst deal. I mean, you could do all this kind of stuff and it just automatically tabulates. That's what's awesome about this.
You'd be a boss.
Boom!
Of like, hey,
Every time he'd walk into work, they'd be like, all I do is win, 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 no matter what. Everybody's hands go up, and they stay there. No, okay. All right, we're good? I can stop that? All right, to add a conditional formatting rule with an icon set. It's cool, though, because these chapters are getting shorter, right? We're happy about that? We're going to look at the row of satisfaction survey. So I'm going to highlight this group right here. We're in column F. I've highlighted all the values in F. And I'm going to go up to conditional formatting. under conditional formatting, we're going to create a new rule. I've got to be honest with you about this. In my Excel expert exam, this was the hardest, second hardest thing. I'm sorry, there was one more harder thing, but this was the second hardest thing for me to do because they gave me some very complicated conditional formatting, and I just hadn't practiced it a bunch. So you have to be very clear, and I was trying to do if-then statements inside my conditional formatting, but by nature, a conditional format is an if, it is an if statement. It's saying, I'm going to tell it what needs to be, and then it will give me this if it's true. For some reason, I was just getting that mixed up in my head. I mean, I passed the cert and everything, but it was just like, it took me 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, wait, shoot, I'm doing this wrong. So, new rule. What we're going to do in here is we want to do a icon set. So instead of 2-color scale, we want to do an icon set. And it gives us all these pretty little icons down here. It says, oh, good, you're going to do icons. Let's see what you want to do here. We're going to go down to the one that has the circle with the X in it. So we're going to change the icon style.
Conditioning format is
Did you highlight all the... Okay, so hold on. I see that this one right here. Now, conditional format, new rule. And then you're going to change it to icon set. I'm going to change my icons to this group right here. So the red has an X, the yellow has an exclamation, and the green has a checkbox. And then over here, just to the right of those individual icon buttons, it tells me when value is greater than or equal to, and I can change all this. So we're going to make it a number. And what's green? When it's greater than or equal to 9. When it's greater than or equal to, what's this one going to be? 7. And we're going to make this a number.
Could you add more values?
Yeah, but you'd have to tell it that you wanted to make it a... you know what? I don't know. I'd have to... That's a good question. That's an advanced question. Let me research that for you. I don't want to confuse everybody. I'm confusing myself already. So we've got this in here, and then it says, okay, when it's there, which means anything below 7 should return a... Oh, I'm sorry. Anything that's below 7 should return when this is greater than 0, right? So I'm going to click OK. Now notice that it left my value in there, but very quickly it's kind of like what I did with the letters over, or just changing the color of the font. It's giving us good, 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 good. So we can go through and say what happened on this service call. Yes.
You went all green on mine.
Well, that's
Oh,
because you
sorry.
didn't do it right. No, go up to conditional formatting. Go down to edit rules. No, manage rules. I'm sorry, manage rules. And then you go ahead and click edit rule. And then down there you have a number of 0. You got to change that.
I had a 7.
Well, you got to change number first and then put your number in. That's a 9. 9 and then 7 and then OK.
So I changed it to numbers. What's the...
Click OK. And then click OK.
No, thank you.
Thank you. What's not working? The electrical? Is that back row plugged in?
This one's working, this one ain't. Oh, there's nothing plugged in here as well.
Yeah, it's missing a cable. I'm sorry. I can't fix that right now. Can you stretch over to the other one? Okay. Ugh. All right, so now we're going to insert a total row into this. We did that. So we're working with a table here, and down at the bottom, maybe we want to see some totals, so we're going to go into table design. And we don't have to go down and do all the calculations. Check this out, because it's a table, we can just go into design and click total row. Wow. I missed it. What was that? That was great. I appreciate that. Thank you. So instead of going in and doing this all on our own, we can just go click on anywhere in the table, go to design, and click total row. And it tells us for this day with those workers, we billed out $21.37. It's pretty good. So we kind of get a result there. Now, what if we wanted to know for time billed though? We come down here, oh, look at this. I want to know time billed, is it going to have me total? Because I want to do an average really bad. But yeah, it's going to give us total. Here we go. We're going to do the average on the next one. So I can say, I also want this one. So I want you to sum that whole column up, and it does. And then over on this one, I want to say, you know what? What's my average for my customer rating?
Go back to the beginning because you lost them.
You lost me at 32.
You had me at 32.
Time build. Did you right click on that to get that?
No. If you just click into it, if you use the total row, it automatically gave us this, but we can come over here and this little down arrow will appear. Click on it, go to sum. It'll add everything up. Click on the one just to the right of it. Click on that down arrow and say average. It will average our survey rating. So like at our school, every month when you take your student satisfaction survey, I look it up and I see what every instructor's average is. We have to have a certain average. If you're below something in a class, like we pull you in and we talk to you and all that kind of stuff. Yes.
So,
Which reminds me, everybody's going to give me a 10 in here because this has been such a good class, right? Okay, good. Noelle's getting an F.
5,000 numbers on it.
Yeah, then home, then you reduce the decimal points.
I have a problem. My number doesn't look like yours.
That's because you have a bunch coming off of it.
Like I have like.
Just comma style the thing.
What do you mean comma style?
Go home and then hit comma style and it'll change it down to 2.
Okay, so.
What do I mean comma style? What is this, like the 5th day of class? You should know what comma style is by now.
Oh, you know what? I gotta go.
That was Noelle that was asking that question. Oh, you do have to go.
Yeah, I gotta go.
All right,
I'm,
you better
like,
go.
trying to get this bit of- 'cause I don't wanna hit-
It's going to be recorded on YouTube. Okay, next. So we average that one. Now we can print the table. We know how to print, right? We hit Control P, it prints. Okay, good. Let's talk about sorting because we've only got 4 minutes. So sorting is one of the things that I love to use tables for. And it's because we can find lots of information very quickly. Now, if we're clicked anywhere in this table, let's say I want to see all of the technicians' jobs for the day. I want to sort A to Z. It will pull them all up, and now they are in order. So in alphabetical order, they're here. Let's say I want to see all of my services that were repairs. Okay, well this is sorting, so I can see if it was an install or repair. Now it's shuffling everything in here. Notice the totals never change because it's totaling up everything in the column. But we can also come in here and say, you know what? I don't want to see anything but repairs. So I just unclick select all and I click repairs, and it's going to only show me the things that are repairs. Now it gave me a total. Now that it's just and an average, so I can see on my averages for my customer satisfaction surveys is actually 8.86 on repairs. So that's actually higher than my normal average. So my repair jobs are pretty good. If I wanted to bring those back in, we can see that there's this little filter button right here. Looks like a little funnel. That means when I look up here, this has been filtered and it's ascending. Okay, so it tells us it's filtered and it's ascending. So I can go in here and then say, great. I'm kind of skipping off of the book here. I'm going to go ahead and open this up a little bit. Let me just go click. This is what I do all the time under data table. Okay, under data table, you go to sort. Now under sort, I can do multiple layers of sorting. So if I was to look up like a certain class, a certain section of the class, and then alphabetize the students' names. So I can see everybody that's in there. So I could say, first thing I want to do is I want to sort by the service type. Then I want to sort by the customer type. And then I want to sort by the satisfaction survey. So I just added these 3. You don't have to do this. I'm just showing you how this works. So you can go back and watch this. I can click OK. Now it's resorted this whole table by service type. And under repair, it then did customer type. So all the repairs, then the coffee shops, then repairs, then QSR, then repairs, then restaurant. This is alphabetical. And then from there, from my survey. So this should be the lowest to the highest survey result. Okay? And it did that. And the beauty of a table is we can resort data or filter data very quickly. We just did a custom sort. Good. The table is having us do that. I like it. To do an auto filter. You know what? We are going to pause right here. We only have a little bit left to go, but I don't want to ruin what we have here because it's the querying part. So go ahead and save this. We're going to use this document tomorrow. Let me go ahead and stop what we're doing on Camtasia.